All right, students, we are ready to begin with the boutique build. I'm going to open up Dreamweaver now, so you should do so as well. You will go to File and New, as we've done many times. And as you can see, you've got the options. We're not doing CSS yet. We're just doing HTML. So make sure you've got HTML selected and then say Create. I'm going to go rather quickly, so just be aware this is video, so you can pause and rewind, whatever you need to do to catch up. So in that way, it's actually better than face-to-face. We've got our standard makeup or composite of a website with the HTML open and close, the head, title, and the body, those elements. I'm going to go ahead as before and separate these things out just so I give myself a little bit of room, and you can do so as well. And we'll even spread them out more. And reminding you that these numbers are only indicators of where something's existing. They're not a hierarchy of importance, or the head doesn't have to be on line 5, etc. I'll zoom in just a little bit closer. Notice in the tab it says Untitled 2. That's not the way we want to name this file. So let's do this first thing. We haven't even began to code yet or create our styles, but let's say File, Save As, and let's make sure we put this in the right document. It's got to be in your root folder, and it's got to be saved as index.html inside of your project 3 folder. So I'm going to go ahead and name this index.html, and I've got to find my root folder somewhere on this page here. Okay, it's Johnson site, and it's in project 3. Now I've already got one. Now this is just for me because I don't want to lose my index file that I have there. I'm going to call this one index 2. Don't you do that, okay? I just don't want to override my old file for the moment. I'll come back later as soon as I catch up, but this one's completely built. All right, let me get the phone and I'll get right back to you. All right, students, I am back with you. Sorry about that phone interruption. I'm going to call my site The Green Barrel. You should name your site up here in the title. You should name it according to whatever your boutique is, okay? You can change it later, but right now let's put something in there besides just untitled name or something. I saved mine as an index 2. Remember, you're saving yours as just index.html in the project 3 folder within your root folder. Make sure that that's all together and appropriate. We're going to do an internal style sheet for the moment. We'll later change it to an external. So I typed in the word style within the appropriate HTML angle brackets, and I'm going to separate it right here. I'm going to start doing my styling. Later we're going to copy this, cut it, and then we're going to paste it into a style sheet that we link to. That way every page is linked to the same style sheet because we're going to have 4 or 5 pages on this. All right, we always start with the body, and it's just body and the curly brackets. All right, let me zoom in just a little bit since we can here. And I'll just go ahead and put these elements in there for the moment. We're going to do the body, which we're going to have background image and fixed and fill up the screen. And then we're going to have the header. And remember, this is hashtag header. And we'll go ahead and put the curly bracket pairing in there, and we'll come back and do the declarations later. Inside of this header, there's going to be something, our logo. So let's call it logo. It's not uncommon to call it logo box because it's a little div that just has the logo in it as a PNG. And then on the right hand side, we're going to have hashtag Navbar, and this will be our menu items up at the top, like normal. And those 3 elements are fine. I'll go ahead and add the others. We're going to have a content area that's in the middle. And just to be safe, we're going to have a left and a right area in the content. So let's say article left, article right. And what I'm thinking, students, is on this home page is the only one where we'll use kind of 2 columns in the middle. The subsequent pages, we're going to make them a little simpler and just have the content area. Now, if we want the content area to be different as far as a background image or something, then we'll have to create a content 2 or content 3 or content about us or content gallery. We'll just need to rename it differently. So we just don't we don't want to overwrite every page in case you don't want to have this the same exact background of an area. But really, this right here is what we're working on in this particular video. Okay, so I'm going to try to speed through this. So we're going to have the header with a style. We've got no style there yet, and the body. So the body right now, I know we want a background image. You should have your images already. We did that, a couple of weeks ago as an assignment. So think about what that background image might be. You can have a background color, but I'm going to just use an image that's going to fit the screen. I think it's called background size cover. And I can't remember background attachment fixed. I think this will make it cover whatever image put in the background. It will cover the screen no matter what size it is, and it'll look good. And if I need to change it to make it position centered, I can. Okay. Right now, I'm going to find this image. Let me back up here. So I'm going to retype that, and I'm going to go ahead and put the image in. And remember, use the URL, not image. And I'm going to go browse into my images folder. I'm going to look for that big pickle image. I've got somewhere. I think that is it. Home header background is what I called it. You might rename these things to make sense to you, but I'm going to add that in here. It's a PNG. Hopefully that'll cover. And I can see a sneak peek over here. It looks like it's covering my screen. I'm going to zoom out for a moment. That's exactly what I wanted. Okay. I noticed it's kind of tiling right here at the bottom, but if I look in live view, I bet you it looks correct. Yeah, it covers. So when the screen gets smaller, you can see this image just it still fills the screen. That's the goal. No matter what size of the screen, it's going to cover it. So there we go. So that's working, and enough for the background image. The body, let me zoom back in here on the code. Next thing I want to put margin 0 pixels. This is standard because we want whatever content that we put inside the entire screen to go all the way out to the edge. I'm going to indent my close tab here, at least for the CSS. Now for the header, etc., all these things will need to have a dimension. So we're going to say width, height. Make sure you spell it right, like I didn't. And I'm going to have this one, the width of this header is going to be, trying to think if I wanted to go all the way across the top, and I think I do. So I'm going to say 100%. In fact, find my percent sign here. Okay, the width. And I want the height. Right now, I'm just going to say 60 pixels tall. Okay. So, and I'm going to give it a background color. Later, we'll tweak the colors. Okay. So I want the background color to be, I'm going to say black. And as far as padding, I don't have any idea yet, so I'm going to leave the padding blank for a moment. Okay. Here again, I'm indenting. I want to make sure I always put a space after my colons. Just keep them the same. I recommend that you do the same too. Just always treat those elements the same. The logo box is going to be where I place my logo. Let's go back though and see if I've got a black header at the top here. I don't see it yet. Let me see what's going on. The width is 100%. The height is 60 pixels. The background color is black. Let me zoom out. Let's see what's going on. Oh, the reason I don't is because I don't have these things in the body yet. Let's zip down to the body real quick. And here in the code in the body, we have to put these. Remember the div IDs. I'm going to go ahead and put them in there. Div ID equals, and then I'm going to say this is header and close. And remember, we're going to have the logo box and the navbar inside the header, so we're going to move this close div after that. So let me just do this code real quick. I'm not trying to speed ahead, but you can pause as you need to. Oh my goodness, Jerry. Okay. I just want to get some of those on here that I'm going to be using. All right, so I'm going to have a header, then I'm going to have logo box, And then I'm going to have Navbar. And I'm going to separate these other elements because we're not going to work on those on this particular lesson. And this header is going to be wrapped around the logo box in the nav bar. So I want to cut it and put it back here. I hope that makes sense. So the header is wrapping around the logo in the nav box. I'm going to go ahead and separate these a little bit so I can just keep them separated as we do some content. So inside the header, there's really not going to be anything other than the logo box. And it's going to be floating to the left and the nav bar floating to the right is the goal of what we're trying to do. And we'll have to adjust the padding. So let me jump over here to the live view and see what's going on here. Actually, I must have my height really. I've got the height 60 pixels. Why does that look so tall? Why do I have 3 headers in here? Go back to design view real quick. Oh, it's because I've got these extra pieces of code down here. Sorry about that. I guess I'll take those away. So that's what it should look like. So let's pause there, and this won't take so long to upload, and I'll upload this, and we'll continue on with the content of the header.